My nose is like running crazy. I think it's allergies. Alright, so I am already kind of started a little bit, like the brows are done. As you guys can tell, I did do some spot concealing on my face because I had a lot of dark marks and stuff that I needed to cover up. And so those things are done. So we're gonna jump into just like prepping the face. I'm gonna go in with my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Mist spray. I do feel like the look in general is just kind of bronzy but also like glowy, if you will. So we love a nice glow during the summer. And then, oh wait, no. So now that I have that, I'm gonna go into cream bronzer. So the cream bronzer I'm using is from NARS. This is the Laguna 2, and I chose to use this bronzer because it is more warm compared to my Makeup by Mario bronzer that I originally was gonna use. Let me just grab a brush and let's just start bronzing the skin. So this is very bronzy focused. So we do want to kind of do a lot of it, and I'm kind of starting with like an underpainting method because the skin is more natural, and I feel like when I do underpainting I use less like product, specifically foundation. You could use a skin tint for this, but I'm using a foundation that I feel is like lightweight and it's not too much, just because I didn't really want to go in with a skin tint. I am going to take it down my nose as well, and the good thing about this brush is that it has this dual side where it's like a little bit smaller, so it's like easier to get in places like this. And I'm just going to brush it up to the brow because you want as much like bronze as possible, I guess. And I'm honestly not being too neat with this. I'm just kind of throwing it on, if you will. We're gonna go into the foundation. So I'm using the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish foundation. Again, it is a little bit more of a runnier foundation, 1, and 2, you can absolutely get like lighter coverage with this. So that's why I'm choosing to go in with this one, because I do want it to be lightweight. I don't want it to be too heavy on the foundation because the makeup in general for this look is supposed to be light. So I'm just tapping my brush into the product. I'm just kind of coating the bristles and then just gonna tap it onto the skin. This is gonna give me little coverage, like light coverage that I want. And I'm okay if like my imperfections peek through a little bit, because you know, that's what the natural makeup is all about. Just looking like your skin, but better, I guess. And I'm just pressing this into the skin. I'm trying to move fast too because of the nose situation. Taking my puff, I'm just pressing on top of where I laid the foundation and just kind of going over the whole face, honestly. I just feel like this helps to give a more like natural look, especially if you were to originally just blend in the product with the puff by itself, but you could do it afterwards too. And it just, I don't know, it helps. You guys know I'm a big advocate for this thing. Okay, I am gonna add more bronzer. That's all the foundation that I'm gonna use. And with this look, I find that they aren't really using blush per se. So we are going to use bronzer as like our blush. So I'm going to go on top of kind of like where I went before. I'm going to use a powder bronzer though for a more blush feel versus the cream, but you could definitely go in with just straight cream if you wanted to. That's okay as well. And now let's go in with some concealer. So I don't want too bright of an under eye, but I may go in with a brighter concealer. But I'm going to start with the Natural Radiant Concealer from NARS in the shade Praline. And I'm just going to use a little bit in the inner corner. I'm not going to put too much concealer on, just I think I'm just gonna focus it here underneath the eyes, a little on the bridge, and then if I have any remaining concealer, I'll just blend it down towards the lip and stuff. And for this, I am gonna use my puff to blend that out. Gives a little brightness to the under eye without like doing too much, you know? So I would say this is maybe like a shade or so lighter than the complexion. Now that I have the concealer blended, I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury, this is the Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in the shade Medium. I'm going to take it with my puff, and then I'm just going to tap this underneath the eyes and my T-zone. Not using too much powder, which is why I kind of opted to just use this instead of like a loose powder, because I still want a nice glow to my face, although we can go in with the Tatcha Dewy Mist at the end of the routine as well, just to give it that shine back, you know? But I definitely love like a more matte finish in the middle of my face. The outside, I love for like glow to be there, but the center, I like to be matte. But do what fits you. Okay, so now that we have that down, we can go in with our bronzer of choice, powder bronzer. So I was gonna use the MAC bronzer, the new one that I got, because it is perfect for summertime. But I also really love the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. This is the collab they did with Whaley that I'm obsessed with. But the butter bronzers in here are also perfect for summer, you know, and for like bronziness. It kind of has like shimmer in it a little bit. So I felt this was the best option. I'm just trying to think what brush I should use. Let's just use this one. So I'm just going to mix both shades. So I have butter bronzer and I have sunset bronzer. Sunset bronzer is a little deeper than the other, but I do like to mix them. I've used these plenty of times. I'm going to focus a lot right here, like where I would put my blush. Because again, we're not using any actual like blush. So this is our blush for today. I'm just going to putting it right here and on my nose as well, because I would naturally put blush there as well. So just bringing it all the way across. And of course going on top of the bronzer, the cream bronzer. So which means we cannot forget down here. We are looking so bronzed. This is crazy. It's amazing the things makeup can do. Let's focus on the eyes now. So I picked, I feel, the best palette for this, considering it is a bronzed look. I have the 35G Bronze Goals palette from Morphe. You guys have seen me use this before, maybe more than once if you've been around for a while. But I thought this was the perfect palette because it has all the bronzy shades in here. Although we're only going to use a select few, more so like the warmer brown shades. So let's see what we come up with. It doesn't have to be anything drastic. I just want to blend some warm browns on my lid, really. So I think I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to use the Morphe M504. And let's take, I want to go for warmness. Nothing too, okay, let's start with this brown right here is what I'm going to start with. Uh-oh, can you guys see that? Come on, camera. I'm going to start with this brown, which is light and warm, and then I'll move over to this one right here. So taking that first brown shade, I'm literally just going to buff it and blend. I'm not being precise with this at all. I'm literally just trying to get a wash of color on the lid, I guess. just lightly buff and blend. One of the things I love about this look is that it's just very effortless in my opinion. And you can really just do whatever. You could throw one brown shade in your crease like this, or not crease, but on your lid, you know, and it still works. Now I'm gonna go into that second shade I showed you guys and buff that one in as well, just kind of in the same motion direction as the other one, just layering it on top to create more of like a more deeper brown. I do want to take both of those shades and just kind of run those on the bottom as well, and just kind of connect it. Not too much though, but you do want enough to where like it shows. And for this I'm using, this is the Luxie 237 blending brush. It's just small enough just to get right under here, right where I need the product to go. And then we're gonna grab one more shade of brown before we get to the shimmer. So I'm gonna take this brown right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. This brown right here. And it is a little cool tone-ish, but I'm not gonna take too much of it, and I'm just gonna focus it more so out here on the outer part. Just a little bit of it. It gives us that little bit of dimension. We are not looking for too much dimension, but just a little bit. Right here on the outer part of the eye. Then for the shimmer, I took out this Pat McGrath. This is the, what palette is this? The Eye Ecstasy Sublime eyeshadow palette. So it has 5 different shadows within it. So let's take this shade right here, and I'm gonna use my finger, and let's just press this on the lid. The one thing about these Pat McGrath palettes, they are pigmented. I'm gonna take the One Size eyeliner. This is the brown one. In a previous video, I did use the black one. This time around, I'm using brown, because brown equals bronze. I can get it out, okay? I'm gonna use this actually for my waterline. Normally, I would go in with my nude pencil for this step, but I'm not looking to brighten my eyes really. To be honest, I haven't used a whole lot of lashes, like false lashes or even my DIY at-home lashes lately. I've been rocking my natural lashes a lot, and I'm kind of surprised by that. I want to apply a little bit of highlight, just my usual Sephora palette that I always gravitate towards for highlight. And I'm just going to take a little bit of it and pop it in the center of the face, because again, you still have that glowy, radiant skin, but also bronzy, you know? So just a little bit of this, a little on the brow. Let's just reapply our gloss for the sake of natural lips, if you will. So just a little bit. Alright, so I did go ahead and change out that lip treatment for this Lawless Gloss in Rosy Outlook. You guys know I've been obsessed with this. I just wanted something that was a little bit more of a plumping gloss than anything, and of course, you guys know I'm obsessed with the gloss in general. So I just applied that on the lips and took off the other thing, but this is the look finished and complete. I really love it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Of course, everyone has their own variation of this, and you can do this so many different ways. It does not have to be, you know, my way or someone else's. However you see fit, trust me, it'll work out. I just love how effortless it is, but just vibey in summer. Thank you guys, of course, for hanging out with me, especially if you hung out with me this long. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an upload. And with that being said, I hope to see each and every one of you in my next upload.